The college admission cycle is upon us, and if you still haven't shortlisted your colleges, this is going to be a stressful time for you. So I'm here to make your life a little bit easier, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you should build your college list, what thought process should go behind it, and more importantly, how to make sure that the colleges that you're selecting align well with your career goals in general. And it's needless to say that towards the end of the video, I'm also going to give you a free college list that you can use to help you get started. First off, we're going to come back to earth and welcome reality, because it is not possible for all of you to apply and get into all 8 Ivy Leagues or top 20 colleges like Caltech, MIT, Stanford, because of a various set of reasons. One, most of these colleges have an acceptance rate of 5% and even lower. And two, they have tuition fees that are like $70, $80, even $90,000 per year. Now, it doesn't matter how smart you are, or even if you've gotten like a 1600 on your SAT, all 8 Ivy Leagues should not be on your college list. You need to clearly understand what your career goals are, major goals are, and based on that, shortlist a few set of dream universities. This is because each university that you add comes with a set of responsibilities, which is, in short, all of the supplemental essays and the work that goes behind preparing a college application. So when you're building your college list, you're going to ideally divide it into 3 parts: dream, within reach, and safety. The reason we do this is we want to have a good broad spectrum of the type of universities that we're applying to, rather than just chasing behind these big prestigious names. It's important to know what your limits are. So the first category, which is the dream category, is everyone's favorite. It's the easiest one to build, and in most cases, we have to remove universities from this list. But basically, this includes colleges that have an acceptance rate of less than 20%. Now, for those of you that are new to the term acceptance rate, it's basically a percentage out of 100 which states the chances of an actual admit. So let's say you have most of your Ivy Leagues like Harvard, Yale, Cornell. These type of colleges usually have an acceptance rate of less than 5%. So that means it's very competitive for students to get accepted into these colleges. The second category is within reach. And the reason I give it this name, some people like to call it mid-tier. I call it within reach because it frankly depends on your limit. So for student A, within reach universities may look something like acceptance rates between 20 to 40%. For student B, who's a little bit more average, the within reach category may look with universities that are somewhere between 30 to 60% acceptance rate. So you need to judge what your profile is, how strong you are academically, and then create that limit for the acceptance rate for these within reach universities. Some good examples include University of Texas, Dallas, ASU, Arizona State University, or we have University of Buffalo even, and some universities in California. There are many out there, but the important thing is you can also look for the majors that these universities are popular in. For example, I know that UT Dallas is really popular for its mechanical engineering majors, and a lot of graduates end up working in like Tesla or other big mechanical engineering companies. So that's something to consider as well. Our last category is the safety category. And this is the biggest reality check, and I've seen so many students get offended when I suggest that they should add a few safety colleges to their list, because they think, well, why should I apply to a university that has an 80 or 90% acceptance? I'm not, that bad academically. And it's nothing offensive on the student itself. It's just that a lot of times these safety colleges are like hidden gems. So they may be great for someone who's looking for a full financial aid offer, or it may be a good fallback option to consider. Also, if not anything, it's always good to have an additional acceptance letter that you can compare with everything else that you've received. To be very honest, it's extremely easy to find dream universities. Like I said, it's the easiest and most fun category to build. But within reach and safety colleges are often overlooked by many students. And it can be really difficult to try to find these hidden gems because there are so many universities in the US. So I've taken the effort, and for the last 2 years, we have this Excel spreadsheet where we constantly keep updating new and more colleges that we find specifically in the within reach and safety category to help students build their own college list. Now you guys can access this entire list for free in the Ivy League 101 sneak peek, which is again free. All you have to do is sign up, go to the college list video chapter that's unlocked, open up that college list spreadsheet and make a copy, and there you go. You have an entire list that will help you build your own set of colleges perfect for you. The best part is the college list spreadsheet comes with links of scholarships that you guys can apply for too. Now you would have noticed that to access the college list, you're opening up the Ivy League 101 sneak peek, which contains all of these locked chapters. Now, if you want to access those, you guys can feel free to purchase the Ivy League 101 course, which contains literally everything from college shortlisting to step-by-step tutorials on how to apply for colleges, essays, activities, resume, financial aid, both for undergrad as well as separately for graduate students. So depending on what type of degree you're applying for, you can purchase the Ivy League 101. The link is going to be in the description below. Now that we've learned the 3 categories that you would have your college list built around, it's important to know what your total number and ratio for each of these categories are. And the reason I say this is, I've seen students apply to 40, 50, even 100 colleges, and I have seen them just completely burn out. It's not fun for anyone. It's not fun for the student who's ending up writing, 100, 150 essays, or even worse, just using one essay and just changing the college name and applying to all of these universities. It can even take a financial toll because remember, each one of these college applications is like $60 to $70 per application. So my sweet spot number is about 15 to 20 universities for undergrad students as well as graduate students. For undergrad, remember that your max limit on Common App is 20 colleges. So if you want to apply to more than that, you have to take other routes like applying through separate college websites or even like the coalition application. But in general, I don't think you should be applying to more than 20. For graduate students, since you'll be applying through different college portals itself, 20 is like the highest limit. I would say since overall your competition is slightly less, not a lot of students go for master's and PhD programs, try to scope out maybe even 10 good ones, and that is a good list to have for you. Now, my suggestion for undergraduate students is applying to about 7 dream colleges, 11 within reach universities, and 2 safety colleges. And for graduate students, my recommendation is applying to 5 dream universities, 4 within reach colleges, and 1 safety college. So a few key takeaways that I want to leave you guys with is 1, when you're building your college list, make sure you have your priority list beside you. And what I mean by that is you need to understand for you as well as your family what is most important. For some students, it may be the physical location of the university from a safety perspective, scholarships or financial aid, looking at prestige or brand value. So all of these things matter, and these will account for all 3 of your categories. Next, when you're trying to look and scope out universities, the 2 resources I would personally recommend include US News Report, which every year releases college rankings, so that is a good resource to have, and Niche, where you can find out different types of colleges and kind of compare them against one another using different factors. And the last thing is doing a final check against the eligibility and requirements of each college. A good example is, let's say a student decided to go test optional and is not giving the SAT or ACT exam. In that case, that particular student cannot apply to MIT, Harvard, Dartmouth, Yale, Brown, because all of these colleges have now mandated the SAT requirement moving forward. So this also needs to go into your college list building process. The last thing you need is towards the end, when you have a final college, you've worked on all of the essays, you realize that you're missing an eligibility requirement and can no longer submit your application. Some other requirements include, for high school students, sometimes you have to have a 4-year calculus or science-based subjects on your profile before applying for that undergraduate degree. And for those of you that are applying for a master's or PhD program, a lot of times these requirements can include something like having a 3.5 cumulative GPA, which roughly translates to 75%, having a mandatory GRE testing requirement, or oftentimes you are ineligible to apply for a particular program if you've done a 3-year bachelor's degree. That's all that I had for this video. I hope you found something informative and took something out in building your own college list. But if you are in a crunch for time and need extra assistance, Incognito Blueprints can help you out. You can check out their college list service, where a custom college list will be built for you based on certain factors and parameters that matter the most for you. Now, of course, we're not going to end the video just as is. We still have our random but question for this video, which is, I want to know from you guys, let's say you have two options. You have been admitted into a low tier university with a full ride scholarship. Would you attend that? Or would you attend a very prestigious Ivy League, let's say, but they have given you no scholarship? Put that in the comment below. And if you're choosing the prestigious university with no scholarship, I also want to know, how would you arrange for the funds? So this is going to be like a fun discussion in the comments that we'll have. Like the video if you enjoyed till this point, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.